yeah, within the next 10 days. Who is our presenter today? Okay, first of all, Freddy Marquez is an educator dedicated to supporting learning. He has a bachelor's in English and is completing a master's in virtual learning environments. With nearly 16 years of experience, he teaches at UGB Plus and a public school in San Miguel. His role includes teacher trainer at the Ministry of Education in El Salvador and 12 years within the Superate program. Freddy has presented at conferences in El Salvador and Honduras and received 3 U.S. Department of State scholarship, including the Oregon University and the Fulbright EA Excellent Program. He's an act he is active in the U.S. Embassy Alumni Association in El Salvador. Plus, Freddy was a key element in having the Teachers App is Coming to You workshop or conference in San Miguel. So with no more introduction, let's welcome our speaker today. I will stop presenting so that he can start sharing with you some of his wonderful ideas. Freddy, the floor is yours. You are muted.
Okay, so yeah, I was muted. So good afternoon, everybody. It's great to have you here. How you're feeling today? Can you please share a reaction to have an idea how you're feeling? You can choose any emoji that you want. So right now I'm excited. So I'm going to choose this one. So I'm really happy, really well honored to be here with all of you guys, and thank you so much for joining on this webinar. I hope that your expectations are high and that I can fulfill, right? I can fulfill all of them. So there are a lot of things to discuss. There are a lot of things to share. And I wish we had enough time so we can get to know each other, that we could share each other's experience, because I am pretty sure that over here we have a wide variety of experiences and also a lot of years of teaching experience as well. So I'm going to be sharing the screen with you in a moment. Let me just double check that everything works well. So right now we got around, well, more than 90 participants. So that's awesome. And well, if there is any question, you can leave the question in the chat. Okay. Here we have Sandra and Ovidio. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for helping us out and for making this possible. Okay. I really appreciate Teachers App, and I tell everybody that I hope that this goes for a long way, and probably that one day it becomes a permanent institution, because as English teachers, we all need help. We all need training. We all need new ideas. And I consider that teaching is one of the most important professions in the world. And Teachers Up has done amazing things for all of us. So thank you guys for the chance to be here and for everything that you are doing, okay, and that you will do. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of plans in mind. So with no further ado, let me share the presentation with you. Again, if you have any doubts, just feel free, right, to ask the questions. If I have any doubt in the chat, I will be answering them. And let's do it. So welcome, right? So I try as much as possible to summarize some of the most useful, the most meaningful, and at the same time the most effective tools that we can use for our classes. If by any reason, okay, if by any reason I lose track of time, I'm sorry in advance, right? I get excited. I'm usually trying to share as much as possible with my students, and obviously with my colleagues, it's the same thing. So first of all, there's a quote, right, that I would like you to give me your insights, your thoughts about. And it says, we need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand, because it is the pen and paper of our time. and it is the lens through which we experience much of our world. So, what do you think about that? Do you agree, disagree? Why do you agree with this quote? I have my own opinion, but I care more about what you think. So if you want to share your answer in the chat, that would be nice, so we can read some of them, right, for everybody. So greetings to everybody, to Ayutuxtepeque, San Miguel, San Salvador, Cojutepeque. There are a lot of places here, Santa Ana. Awesome. Well, let me see. I think that somebody was raising his hand, so we're going to give a chance to Juan Carlos. I think it was you. Okay,
Yes, of
Wilson says
course,
in
it
the
was
chat, I
me.
can't teach.
Well,
Okay, go ahead. Take 30 seconds to give your opinion.
okay,
Go
just
ahead.
to put it, yeah, to put it simple, discarding the technology in the classroom is, for me, one of the biggest mistakes that we as professionals can do, right? Because, these are new times. That means new perspective. That means new tools, right?
Correct.
Because, the times in which, well, I remember, for example, the teachers that used to have a very nice handwriting in the board, right? But now those times are getting over. I don't know, right? I mean, they're passing by. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, right? And of course, I admire teachers that have some skills like that, right? But
Mhm.
now we have to use technology not to do our job, but as a tool in order to improve our jobs in the classroom. That's it.
That's it. Okay, awesome. Let's give Juan Carlos a round of applause, please. And we need to balance them. Awesome. Thank you for that participation as well. We cannot teach nowadays without AIs. Jennifer, I agree with you. Innovation technology is crucial. We need technology, but not in all the class, yes, because I know the majority of you probably work same as me, right, in the public system. So it's challenging, it's complicated. There are a lot of topics that we can discuss, but we're not going to focus on the disadvantages or in the problems or the burdens that we normally have. We're going to focus on the positive, okay, on the positive side. So I like to have this metaphor, right, of the or this analogy of the half empty, half full glass. I like to be optimistic, so I like to think that there's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way. You know that, right? So without technology, we wouldn't be here right now. Exactly. And just to give you a little example, when I was on my first scholarship in the U.S. In 2016, I didn't know Zoom. When I got there, everybody knew Zoom. So I was like, hey, this is really cool. It was for free back then, right? And a lot of people could connect. And through the pandemic, everybody discovered Zoom, everybody used Zoom. So I was like, man, I never imagined that this was going to become so popular, so needed, right? And I mean, technology is changing, it's advancing, something new is emerging every single day. Right now, we're talking about ChatGPT, for example. Tomorrow, there will be another AI that is going to be better than ChatGPT. So things are changing, and we cannot just stay in the same place where we are. We cannot remain teaching in the same way that we learned in the past. So so we need to be updated, okay, as teachers. No matter the age, no matter the level that we teach, we are all on the same page, okay? We all have the same objective, that is to help our students achieve their learning goals and to acquire, right, the necessary competencies, right, and skills. Now, let's move on. What we're doing today, right? So we're going to be obviously discussing, we're going to be thinking, right, about different things that we can do in our classes, and we're going to learn. That's the main goal of education, right? That we can learn and that the learning is meaningful, okay? So at the end of the session, okay, you're going to decide, you're going to share your thoughts about what you're taking from this. So let's move on. There will be, probably because of time, we're not going to be able to do it, but normally, right, a normal presentation, I would be doing, in a normal class, I would be doing the breakout rooms so that you can go and share at different moments of the class. But because of time, we're just going to do it once at the end of the session. So we're going to do the think, pair, share. That is one of the best strategies that you can use to have your students not only analyzing, reflecting on their learning, but also working together with others and expressing their ideas or sharing their ideas. So it's a simple but a really effective process. Now, there are tools for different purposes. Okay, just this morning I was observing a class, and students were using a Kahoot, right? So we know Kahoot. But it was interesting because these future teachers, okay, I told them, okay, guys, if you're going to use technology, I need you to include listening. So what they did was to record themselves, okay, saying sentences, and the student had to listen and select the one that they listen to. So, and I was like, these are the kind of teachers that are going to change the future, right? The change the students' perspectives. So we need to adapt. Now, which tools for presentations can you think of apart from PowerPoint? That is the most famous one that we have used forever and ever. So what other tools can you think of? Please share a couple of tools in the chat. I would like to see what you have there. Canva, Genially. Thank you, Dania. Wilson. Okay. Well, Nearpod, Jamboard, Prezi, Lookat, okay, Padlet, Kahoot, Jiglish, quizzes. I love quizzes. Warble, Jamboard. Okay, we already mentioned that one. Warble. I used to use Warble in the past, but now it's a little more restricted, let's say. Flippity. Yeah, correct. Some of them look totally new. I agree with that. Classroom screen. That's a really good one. Quizlet. Yeah, when you're teaching vocabulary, correct. Per deck. Okay, per deck. Yeah, I haven't used that in a while, but it's really nice. Okay, and then Isaac Diaz, thank you so much. Magic Slides, Briz, the teaching for Google Slides presentation. I know you're crazy about Google, and there are a lot of tools, okay, that you can share with us related to Google. So awesome. Now let's move on. I'm just going to share some of them. As I said, this is a summary, right, of the ones that I have used in the past, recently, and that I consider are really simple somehow, and at the same time, useful in the class. So as somebody mentioned, right, Genially, Nearpod, you mentioned that too. Flipgrid, that can be used obviously for videos in case you didn't know it. So what I like about Flipgrid is that there's short videos in this generation of TikToks and Reels and stuff. For students to record a mini video, it's not something complicated. So you can get to them through this kind of tools. Then we have emails that it's kind of like Pertec or probably Google Slides, right? I mentioned that in the next slide. So it's basically collaborative tools that we can use for our students to work together, even if it is online. Okay. One of the most famous ones, we have to say, we have to admit it, right? Is Canva. Canva has revolutionized not only teaching but also businesses in a lot of different fields. So I don't know, with Gerardo, for example, we were working on a module this year. It took us, I don't know, like 2 minutes to find a restaurant menu, for example, on Canva that we just had to edit, okay, to make it more Salvadoran style. So there are so many tools in Canva that you can use. Powtoon, for example, when I have these courses that I have to give subjects, for example, in a semester, Powtoon is a really nice tool for you to create a mini video, an introductory video at the beginning of the class. You upload it to the platform that you're working with, okay? Like saying, hi, this is Freddie. And so everything is animated. You can use a lot of different stickers. You can record your voice. It takes some time, I have to be honest. It takes some time to record it, but it's really useful and you can use it as many times as you want. So you upload it to YouTube, then it's accessible for everybody. And then Nearpod. I would like to stop a little bit on this one. I'm just going to share, well, raise your hand if you have used Nearpod in the past. Please, I would like to have an idea about how many teachers here have used it. I see 2 hands up, 3, 4, Nearpod, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 teachers, 10 teachers have used Nearpod. Okay, I know that probably more of you have used it. Now, let me just go to the mini introductory video for you right here. So that you have an idea, right, about what Nearpod is. So I was introduced by this actually by another teacher. And this is what I'm telling you, right? The community that Teachers Hub has created is amazing. And we can do this, right? Sharing what we know, what we have used, so that other teachers can also experience that and benefit from that. So I think that you can see the screen now. Yeah, perfect. So let's take a quick look at this.
With Nearpod, you can make every lesson interactive. Launch lessons your students can't wait to join. With interactive slides, interactive video, gamification, and activities. As the teacher, you always know where your students are with Nearpod's formative assessments, including polls, open-ended questions, and more. Get started with what you already have. Add the power of Nearpod to your existing PowerPoints, worksheets, videos, Google Slides, and other curriculum resources you love. Create active video experiences to check for understanding with built-in interactive questions. Increase engagement with gamification and activities, including time to climb, draw it, drag and drop, and more. Get started even faster with our library of pre-made standard-aligned lessons, videos, and activities built in partnership with some of your favorite educational brands. Use them as is or customize to meet the unique needs of your students. Once you're ready to launch your lesson, choose the teaching mode that works best for your setting. In live participation mode, you control the pace, and students participate on their devices, in person or virtually. In student-paced mode, students move through and participate on their own, working from home or in class, in centers, stations, or groups. Toggle between.
All right, so as you can see, it's not just for presentations, it's also for assessment, and you can use it for gamification as well. So it's for me, this is like a little box where you can place a lot of different elements, a lot of different tools and toys, let's say. Now, so Nearpod can be useful not only for synchronous, but also asynchronous, right? And there's something that I would like to make a parenthesis. I know that you know about flipped classrooms. So that's something that I would definitely recommend for a flipped classroom, okay, strategy. So that you know that in the flipped classroom, students are actually learning by themselves at home. And then when they get to your class, they are just going to show the results or to have them, or for you to have them practice what they have learned. So it's kind of inverting, right, the process. And I consider that this can save a lot of time in your classes. So it's a matter of just starting to familiarize with the tools. I know that the biggest problem that the majority of teachers have is time. Okay, we don't have a lot of time, a lot of free time, because a lot of people who don't know about teaching think that it's just going to the class and that's it. But it's way more than that. For me, teaching is the easiest part and the funniest part. The rest of the activities that we have to do, we know that it's more complex, more complicated. So Nearpod and Flipgrid, okay, can be really good for the flipped classroom strategy. I know people who love Genially, and that's fine. I have used it just a couple of times, to be honest with you, because I have my preferred tools, right? But the idea here is not just to share with you what I like, but also what you can use, okay? Because in the end, as it was mentioned in the video, you are trying to meet your students' needs. But what I'm trying to do right now is to meet your needs. So by giving you options, okay? I know that it would be perfect in an ideal world that we are using all the tools in this webinar right now. Like we start practicing each of them, but we don't have that much time. So I'm just trying to highlight the ones that I consider probably that you're going to enjoy the most or that you're going to have a really good time using, and especially your students. Now, why did I include Google Slides if it's something so basic, so common, right? I included this because sometimes we are like, okay, but if I use this tool, I have to pay for the premium version. If I use this tool, I need a lot of internet connection because it's like Powtoon, right? You need a lot of connection. But just by using Google Slides, okay, you can make the class a little bit different because in Google Slides you can include a lot of different tools and it's online. I mean, so it's not the traditional PowerPoint. So it has more characteristics that students can benefit from when they are from home. So I think that that's the reason why you should consider, right, that Google, I'm going to back up Isaac here. Google has a lot of free tools that we can use, like Jamboard, you mentioned that one. And all of the slides, sheets, forms. I love using forms, for example, because it's not just for surveys, but also you can use it as a questionnaire, right? Like a test. And it's for free and it's not complicated. So the next part of the tools that we're going to be discussing is tools for assessment. Nobody likes to be checking papers. I know. But nowadays there are many options for us not to check papers. All we have to do is to take some time to prepare the test or the evaluation, the quiz, whatever. And then we're going to get the results automatically. Okay, just last night I was teaching a class. I created this form in, I don't know, probably, I don't know, 5 minutes, just including the number of the question, the 4 options, selecting the correct answer for each of the questions, and then just setting, right? Like, okay, this is anybody with the link can access, anybody with the link can answer, mandatory questions, blah, 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 blah. So students took the test in what, 15 minutes, and that was it. So normally in a traditional class, I would have taken the copies, given to the students, and then I would be coming back home and start checking question by question. Is that enjoyable? No. So what tools can we use for assessment? Can you please share some in the chat? What tools have you used for assessments? Okay, Google Forms. Okay, very good. Thank you, Dania. Edgar mentioned the same, Google Forms. What other tools have you used for assessing your students? Live worksheets. Yes, live worksheets. Okay, and it's for free. Quizzes, Microsoft, okay, Microsoft Forms. We're not doing any kind of advertising campaign here. So if you say Google, it's okay. If you say Microsoft, it's okay. Socrates, yes, that's a good one. Okay, Moodle for the ones who have access to Moodle, right? Kahoot, ZipGrade. Thank you so much, Edgar, for mentioning ZipGrade. ZipGrade has saved not my life, but a lot of my time in the past, I don't know, 3 years. So with ZipRate, I didn't include it here because to be honest, I have a lot of tools, but I didn't include ZipRate. But just in case you didn't know, please Google it. You download the application, you download the answer sheet, you just enter the answer sheet, you enter the answer key, and just with your cell phone, you start scanning. I did that this year with my students at the university, and they were the ones who didn't know it, they were surprised, like, teacher, you got the results right now? Yeah, you got 20 correct. And they were like, okay. So it was like in the supermarket, right? There was a line, and students were just coming with the answer sheet. And I was like, okay, scanning, you got 15, you got 23. And they were like, wow, this is so practical, so simple. So a little check and a little star for ZipGrade. Okay, I will write it down there so you can Google it later. It's really good. Okay, it has 20, 50, or 100 items, correct. I think Edgar and I are aligned with Z grade. Okay, thank you so much for the ones who are sharing their answers. I know there are a lot of tools, and hopefully later in the chat, we can get all of the answers that you have shared with us. Now, I have mentioned, I don't know what happened here with Read Theory, got in on the way of quizzes. EducaPlay, clickers, quizzes, and Read Theory. I added Read Theory actually today. Okay, I was like, I haven't included anything that has to do with reading. So I was like, what tools can I share with them? And Read Theory is one of the best ones for free. Actually, I think it was Gerardo who shared this with me, like, I don't know, more than 5 years ago. So I mean, there are many options. EducaPlay is for free. Most of the resources are available for you in case you have never used it. It's in Spanish, but you can obviously create your quizzes and your presentations in English. So it's really user friendly. So in case you didn't know it, take a look at that. Quizzes, we know that is similar to Kahoot. However, I prefer quizzes because even if I cannot project on, because we don't have projectors in most classrooms, right? And we don't have probably internet connection in most schools, or good internet connection in most schools. But what I have done with quizzes is that I share the link with them from my phone, and they can see the question in their cell phones. Yeah, but the majority of my students don't have internet connection. Okay, you can have just 5 cell phones in your class. I normally give internet connection to my students, like the maximum is 10. 10 students can connect. 10 students is more than enough for having a classroom activity for a formative assessment. I'm not talking about summative assessment. It's a formative assessment where students have fun and they show you how much they have learned. And it's okay that they do it in person or in groups of 3. We know our system, we know our limitations. So what we're trying to do here is just to give students an opportunity to do something different. I was talking to I have 3 practitioners. Well, I have the school where I work, and I was telling them, okay, one of these days, the idea is to give the students the opportunity, right, to experience something different. Because in the end, as English teachers, we are usually the crazy ones, the funny ones. We are the clowns. We are the ones who are noisy, who are loud. Teachers get angry because we have our speakers with high volume, right? Listening to songs in the class, doing a lot of different things. And that's fine. I mean, that's the beauty of teaching English. We can do a lot of crazy things, a lot of funny things that in other subjects could be possible, but the majority of the teachers, I think that they are not accustomed. They just prefer to go with the strategies that they already know and that they work for them. That's fine. Okay, we cannot change the science, math, and language teachers, but we can change the English teachers. And that's what we're trying to do here. Now, Plickers. Raise your hand or use a reaction if you have used Plickers in the past, please, or if you have heard about Plickers. Okay. We got 2. My goodness, only 2. 3. Okay. But it's a thumbs down. So maybe that person didn't have a good experience using Plickers. Again, this is something that I discovered with I don't know, I think it was like 50-something-year-old teacher. And just to give you an idea, this teacher surprised me because he was, yeah, almost like 60-year-old teacher. He was in the US, and he started using his tablet in the class to have a quiz. And I was like, what is he doing? So all the students have this QR code, okay, with the 4 options, A, B, C, and D. And I was like, what is he doing? So he was scanning all of the answers. And automatically he was like, okay, 17 of you got it right. I was like, what is that, right? I thought it was kind of like witchcraft. No, it was just a QR code that you can print in small size, medium size, or large size. I normally use the medium size. This is obviously better for in-person classes, not for virtual classes. So students have this. Of course, it's not speaking because they just have to show the code, but it's really good. It's really good. So all you have to do is create your quiz. It has predictive text. So automatically it's going to be giving you the ideas about your questions, the answer choices, and then printing the QR codes. If I were you, I would laminate it or tape it, right? So that it lasts longer. And you can use it with all your classes. It's something reusable, something recyclable. It's really, really nice. And as it says here, clickers simplified. Okay, so try it out, please, as soon as you have time. Now, about read theory, I'm just going to make a little parenthesis here. This is really good because students work at their own pace. So you just create a class, send students the code, they enter the class, they are part of your class, you can monitor their progress. Okay, they are getting prizes for the number of readings they are doing, the number of correct answers they are getting. So read theory for reading comprehension is the best free tool that we can use. So please take a look at that. Read theory is great. And we know that in Latin America, we don't read a lot. So our students have that problem too. So this is an option for you. Now, let's move on. Wordle. I feel brokenhearted because nowadays you can only use 5 free resources. Okay, in the past you used to have more. Wordle is one of the most diverse tools that we can use for activities, evaluations, games, because it goes from something as simple as a hangman to something more complex as a let's say a spinning wheel where students have an answer and they're getting points, or like a Jeopardy game style. So it has a lot of different tools. I don't know who created this, but they did a great job. They helped us a lot with this. And as somebody mentioned at the beginning, Quizlet is really good for vocabulary learning. So whenever you have vocabulary lists that you want your students to learn, create a Quizlet. I think it's actually free. I mean, not free, but it's cheap. You pay like, I don't know if it is like $3 a year for having all the resources available. So for vocabulary, it's the #1 tool that I can recommend, okay, that you can use, Quizlet. You can have it in your cell phone, you can have it online, so it's really, really useful. Now, we're getting to, I think that we're getting to the point where we have to go to the breakout room soon. So I'm sorry that I'm going fast, but as I warned you at the beginning, right? There's a lot of information, and what I want to share with you today is basically the resources, the options that you have in order to make your classes not only more technological, but also more innovative. And one word that I consider is key is engaging. Okay, engaging and also meaningful. Because as the same way that I remember 2016 when this teacher used clickers is the same way that I know my students will remember using these tools in class. Okay, the first time that I used quizzes, next class they were asking me, teacher, are we going to do a quizzes today? I was like, okay, they liked it. Okay, so you know the reaction is like that. Okay, now this is the best part of all, right? Which technological strategies or tools have you implemented in your classes? Right now, Ovidio is going to send you to the breakout rooms where you are going to share. Right here, you can speak as much as you want for 7 minutes or 5. I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be 5, right? 5 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, and
5 minutes.
also 5 minutes. Yeah, and I think Alexia is here, so maybe she's going to be the one creating the
Oh,
breakout rooms.
okay, perfect.
Um, so yeah, like 5 to 7 minutes. Remember that this is the opportunity for you to share with other colleagues. No one is going to be checking if you're actually sharing, but the idea is that we all collaborate and get something great out of this
Yeah.
presentation. I will be broadcasting the question to the groups. Basically, it is what innovative technological strategies or tools have you integrated into your classroom, and how have they transformed the learning experience of your students? I know it's a little bit long, but as I said before, I will be broadcasting the question through each of the breakout rooms. Enjoy it. We have 5 minutes to discuss over there.
Let's do it. Please share as much as possible. Okay. Don't be selfish. Okay. Let's go.
The breakout rooms will close in just 7 seconds, so we should have everybody on board just a couple of seconds. I hope, yeah, now we have everybody on board. I hope you did have time to share and to collaborate with other colleagues. Um, as I said in the beginning, most of what we do in class is because we have heard from somebody or we copy ideas from other teachers, and that is why we keep on having breakout rooms, because we understand that you guys have wonderful ideas that can be shared. Freddy, all back to you.
Thank you so much. So let's do it. This is not over. This is not over, right? So guys, you shared some tools. I hope that everybody had the opportunity to share a little bit. Remember to, yeah, that you can take notes, you can take screenshots, right? I am going to, well, for as I said before, right, before you enter the breakout rooms, don't be selfish, right? I know that sometimes as teachers, we work very hard on something and it's like sharing this with others. I don't know. But in the end, remember that the one who's going to benefit is not the teacher. The one who's going to benefit is other students. And I feel happy to know that what I share with other teachers is going to be used, okay, with other groups of students. So I feel like I'm having an impact in other students in other parts of the city or the department of the country of the world. Okay, so it's like if you are transcending, right, crossing borders, right, crossing borders. So I like the philosophy of pay it forward, right? If somebody shares something with me, I'm not going to share something with that person necessarily. Sometimes it's not possible, but you can share with somebody else. So as teachers, we need to be really, really, really generous, really united, because we know that we're doing everything for our students. It's not that they're going to pay us more because we're using technology. I mean, the more our engaging our class is, the more entertaining our class is, the more meaningful our class is, the more students are going to keep that knowledge, right? And those memories. So remember, the goal is to impact students. So on your screen, you can see that there are some other tools, okay? For example, we have Wiser. So it's over 10 million worksheets to explore. So you can use, you can look for any worksheet that you're needed, okay, that you're needing. Like we did with live worksheets, right? We do with live worksheets. Miro is like this board with a lot of stickers and different options that you can use for sharing thoughts, for doing activities in groups using this mural, right, online. So Miro is really nice. However, when I think about Miro, I always think about Menti or Mentimeter. I really love this one. And that's the reason why I created a mini Menti so that you can share your thoughts. So I'm sharing the link with you in the chat. I need you to access and answer the question. So the question that I asked in this Menti, that is a cloud, word cloud, okay, select the word cloud, but you have other options. You use for assessment, Freddie? Okay, hold on. Somebody asked a question, but I will answer that later. Victoria Marroquin, ISL Collective. That has saved my life many, many times, especially when I started teaching. Okay. So let's check. I'm going to go to Menti quickly. So please enter, open the link that I shared with you, and I'm going to go to the website. Now, before we see Bluecat, I'm going to open the Menti. So in the Menti, okay, basically what you do is to create a question, okay? Then you select what type of interaction you want with your students. In my case, I selected a word cloud. So I see all of the answers together mixed. Okay. So the question is, what have you liked about this webinar? Okay, simple question. You can do that at the end of your class, for example. Okay, what words you learned today, for example, something simple, and your students can type the words that they learned in that class. Okay, 17 responses. It has given more tools. The words that you see like in larger font is the ones that are repeated, right? So in this case, it's not going to be too much because everybody's using their own words. But for example, you can use it in class like, okay, mention 3 adjectives to describe personality. And then you will see what adjectives your students are typing there. Okay, so new tools, share knowledge, the new apps, new resources. Okay, awesome. And that's it. It's just the way that we created a Menti. I did this in, I don't know, 3 minutes to exaggerate the time. So it's interactive, fun, and you keep it. You keep it, right? You keep the results. You can see the answers later. Now I'm going back to the presentation because there are more tools that I want to share with you before we finish today's presentation. Now, and here we have the rainbow, right? All of the menu. So I mentioned quizzes in the past, but one of my students are enjoying now, especially with kids. This is really good. But we know that teenagers also do enjoy them, and adults. Is Blooket, okay? Blooket works same as quizzes and other tools that are for assessment and for playing games in class. So just to give you an example, I'm going back here. In case you don't have time, let's suppose that you don't have time and you prepare the class, but you realize that you didn't use any, let's say you didn't use any, what, technological activity. So you are like, okay, I'm going to do something with technology. You go quickly to Blooket, you look for prepositions of place as a topic for the day, something simple, something short, 8 questions, this one, you select it, then you host it, right? You check the questions first. In this case, it's not good because there's another language there, but you select the type of game that you want. I normally go with the race. They love the race. Right here, racing. So it's like a competition with different avatars, and then you host it, and then they have fun just answering the questions. And because of time, guys, let me just move quickly. I think that a video is about to make a stop here. I just want to mention that we have Flippity. This is one that I discovered through, I think it was Irvin who shared this with us some years ago, I think. It takes time to create the tools or the resources, but it's really, really nice. I remember that I created one that I had to enter some information like an Excel file. Bamboozle, GameKit or GameKit, some people call it GameKit, and Padlet. Somebody mentioned Padlet in the breakout room. Yes, you can use Padlet also for students to upload their picture, introduce themselves, whatever you want. There are options to change colors, add links, like, vote, grade, give opinions, and so on. And last but not least, I just want to mention this video, if you let me. So as somebody mentioned at the beginning of the class, of the webinar, artificial intelligence, right? It's not just ChatGPT. I mentioned that because it's the one that everybody's using. But for example, Quizalize, okay? I learned this, I discovered this through another teacher as well. I think he's not here, but Quizalize, I create a quiz in 1 or 2 minutes.